I know what you're thinking. That's a ridiculous headline that Amazon.com is going to take down the whole stock market. And to be clear, that's not my base case either. But maybe that headline got you watching this video, which is good because I have a couple key points to make. Number one, Amazon.com is going to report earnings on July 27th after the close of trading. And in my discussions with institutional investors, including hedge funds, right now, I cannot find one single person that's anything else than super bullish on the stock. And obviously this is a great company, they're taking over new industries and it's a great growth story. I'm not bearish on the stock either as such, but there are a couple of things besides the fact that sentiment is extremely bullish that I would like to point out to you guys. So let's head over to the charts and let me give you some perspective.
Alright, so before we even look at Amazon.com, let me show you sentiment as represented by the VIX, or the CBOE Implied Volatility Index. It actually closed in the very low 9s on Tuesday, July the 25th, which in my eye is, from a daily closing basis, pretty much about as low as we've ever seen. So that doesn't necessarily have to mean that the market has to fall apart, but it does very much coincide with the fact that people are still very, very bullish on a few large cap tech stocks, which they should be bullish on because they are good, but I just feel like things are getting a little bit stretched here. So that's just the broader market sentiment, and again, overlay this with the fact that a lot of people, in fact, anyone that I'm speaking to these days, is not just a little bit, but super bullish on Amazon, and I'm getting the feeling this is getting a little bit overdone. So let's have a look at Amazon.com in two ways. Number one, let's look at it on a multi-year weekly chart, which is really going back and looking at the big picture trend of Amazon on that stock going back to, let's say, 2015. And here you can draw some very simple lines, okay? And you can see each time the stock essentially reached the upper end of this range, and this range in my eye looks something like this, it has basically paused, if not pulled back. Now, I'm not calling for a crash here in Amazon, but considering where the stock is, I would be particularly interested in seeing if there might be an opportunity to fade that stock for a trade, or if you're structurally long the stock, to take profits if the stock gaps higher after earnings or already here before earnings, because you don't really know how people are going to react to it. So looking at it here from a long-term chart, again, considering the complacency, the bullish complacency, considering the bullish complacency not just in the stock but also in the broader stock market, Amazon trading at its very upper end of the range on the multi-year weekly chart, and as you see here, also on the daily chart. So if we zoom in closer and we look at only just the year-to-date move in Amazon.com, which we can look at like this. Amazon, I think, is up about 40% or something like that year-to-date. And we do a very simple channel here as well, just to gain perspective. That's what all we're trying to do in the clubhouse. What I always try to do with members is just gaining perspective as much as possible. You can see here too, we're not exactly at the highs of the channel, but we are pretty darn close to it. You can see here too. So the point is, I think the reward to risk here for chasing Amazon higher into earnings and most likely after earnings is not really a great smart trade to do here, but it is certainly something that we want to see if there's an opportunity once the company has reported earnings to see if we get a failed rally, in other words, a rally that then leads to a sell-off, or already after earnings, some sort of a down gap that we can then sink our teeth into, sell some out of the money call spreads if you're an options trader, take profits in the stock if you're a long-term holder, at least partial profits, or if you want to be quick, you can even short the stock or buy some put spreads. Also, this Thursday, July 27th at 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to hold a special webinar on what I call Trading 101, Stocks and Option Setups for Maximum Potential Profits. The premise for the webinar, and yes, it will be recorded, is that I recently did a seminar for advanced traders, and I was shocked at what they didn't know. They really didn't have a process. They didn't really know how to look at the stock market from a top-down perspective, in the sense that looking and understanding at one of the most powerful sources of making money in the market, which is really sector and group rotation. So I'm going to show you guys how I do that. Make sure you sign up for the webinar down below in the message box, or the comment box, I think it's called, and I hope to see you guys at this special webinar.